I'm Tad Flakey,
I'm Lilibet Flakey.
and this is Pointless Global News. On today's show, Old Golden Balls is back just in time for Christmas.
Then, a New York subway station will temporarily smell better just in time for Christmas.
Next, meet Kumma, the freaky talking AI teddy bear. That unintentionally hilarious story is coming later, but first. The statue, nicknamed Golden Balls, had been erected outside a vintage shop until 2022, but had to be removed after neighbors complained. It's not quite Brazil's Christ the Redeemer statue, but the store's owner, Grant Adamson, said customers were heartbroken when it had to be removed 6 months after appearing. He has now put it back up in order to spread some Christmas cheer. The striking gold statue is of a Roman gladiator and was once used to promote the Russell Crowe blockbuster on this theme back in 2000. You can now see it at the Bulldog Forge near Manchester, England. There had been a campaign to bring back Golden Balls, with Facebook pages set up calling for the statue to be reinstated. Grant Adamson said it had become a landmark. People were always asking me, when is he coming back? So I decided to bring him back out for Christmas. He had agreed to put the statue in storage in 2022, despite disputing the city council's claim that it needs planning permission, as it is on his land on a trailer which can be moved and doesn't protrude over his property boundary. Posting on social media, many were delighted to see the heroic figure return, with one writing, "Yes, finally, Golden Balls is back home, LOL." Another said, "Yay, he used to brighten my day." Grant said, "It's good for the business and good for the community, and it's not long, though. It's just here to spread a little Christmas magic."
I don't have anything to say about that, Tad. Old Golden Balls is home.
And the name is fully descriptive of what this statue appears. It's anatomically correct, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my guess.
Yeah.
Anyone who's ridden the New York subway knows that at any given moment, it's a sensory overload. Between the 3.4 million people that ride it daily are forced to endure random music, street performers, and vendors selling everything from churros to nuts. You're almost never bored once you head underground. All of the senses being assaulted, however, what you smell on any given day is sometimes a literal crapshoot. It can range from, at best, "This doesn't smell completely terrible," to "How did the odor of hot garbage and poop combined get down here?" If you make your way to the Grand Central Station by the end of the month, however, you'll be smelling something actually pleasant, and it's all due to advertising. Bath & Body Works has cut a deal with the MTA that will make the 42nd Street shuttle platform smell like fresh pine and vanilla, a nice change from the vagrant urine it usually smells like. The giant retailer has installed infusers attached to a steel girder that will disperse 20 to 30 pounds of the scent by the end of the month. Apparently, it's subtle enough that if you're in a hurry trying to get that number 7 train, you might not even notice it. But there is a poster proclaiming that the temporary, not gross smell is courtesy of Bath & Body Works. The chief marketing officer for Bath & Body Works states that the company chose fresh balsam to be the scent of the campaign, as it's one of their most popular scents, and is also for the holidays. It won over some of their less popular fragrances that would be less distinguishable from the norm, like packed train body odor or "A rat might have died here a while ago." The MTA did not go into this blind, however. Last year, they did a pilot program at some stations in Queens and Brooklyn to make sure it wasn't overwhelming. It's not mentioned which fragrances they'd used for those, but there have been no complaints about the 2024 testing or this current campaign yet. With this first-of-its-kind campaign seemingly having worked, look for more intentional smells to come to a subway station near you as the MTA celebrates a new revenue stream. Maybe pumped-in coffee will remind you to get your Dunkin' fix. Or you could smell a Whopper, perhaps as Burger King pipes in the smell of hamburgers, while vegan commuters turn back in horror. Or Red Lobster could pump in some flounder. Or maybe Subway, the sandwich company, can partner with Subway, the Subway, to pump in the smell of their bread, which everyone within half a block of the store can already smell. Realistically, it'll probably be something from Yankee Candle or a chocolate company, but either way, the days of your nasal cavities being punished by smells in the subway aren't going anywhere, but the odor might be vastly improved. Now, I do have something to say about
I
this.
know you would.
You know, I don't think that bad odors should be mixed with food odors. So I'd be okay with the balsam, but the vanilla is kind of a foodie odor. And the last thing you want to smell is poop, BO, and something you associate with food or eating.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing because, even with something that you might think worked, like a spruce-like scent,
Right.
how is that gonna cover up the smell of Subway? I mean, if anybody has gone in a Subway, and I think most of the listeners have at one point or another, it's usually pretty awful smelling, no matter where it might be. But
Well, we'll have to see how that turns out.
yeah, we certainly will. I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to experience it. That's all I'll say. Finally, remember the times when the biggest danger about kids' toys was a choking hazard? Well, these days, you can never know what the latest gadgets might do. For instance, they could start teaching your children the ins and outs of various kinks. That's what Kumma, the teddy bear, did. This teddy bear is equipped with an AI powered computer system and a speaker so it can hold conversations with kids. However, research has found that those conversations can easily go far beyond PG-13. A group studying toy safety found that Kumma could or wouldn't steer the conversation away if it was given a slightly naughty prompt. In fact, it would really get into it, escalating the conversation with ever more graphic details. In addition, the bear would teach you other kinds of unsafe behavior. If asked, it might tell you how to light a match or where knives are usually kept in a house. Following the report, the manufacturer pulled the teddy bear from the market. But who knows how many they managed to sell before that? The Kumma teddy bear is manufactured by Folo Toy, a Singapore based AI toy manufacturer. Its products incorporate the GPT-4 language learning model developed by OpenAI. What could go wrong, right? Well, the company states on its website that its lovable toys, featuring a safe and huggable design, start conversations with kids. They're intended to be learning companions that teach kids by talking about subjects they're interested in. One of the toys is or was Kumma. It's a generic looking tan colored teddy bear with a brown scarf. Sounds absolutely adorable the way they describe it. When still available, it's sold for $99. Kumma, our adorable bear, combines advanced artificial intelligence with friendly, interactive features, making it the perfect friend for both kids and adults. The now deleted product description read, on the surface, Folotoy has good intentions about helping kids learn. However, it seems the conversations Kumma had were really geared more toward adults than children. Kumma's kinky side was uncovered by the USPIRG Education Fund. Researchers from the organization recently reviewed a bunch of toys for their safety. Among those toys was Kumma, and he's one freaky bear, it turned out. The research team had various conversations with Kumma, trying to see if it could lead kids astray. Sure enough, the first red flag came when the bear started talking about knives before starting to give the research team ideas about where they might find them in their homes. It also instructed the team on how to find and light a match. And then the conversation veered to sexual topics. Kumma's opinions on spanking quickly started taking uncomfortable undertones. The researchers decided to see how far the bear would take the sexual talk, and that opened a real can of worms. We were surprised to find out how quickly Kumma would take a single sexual topic we introduced into the conversation and run with it, simultaneously escalating it in graphic detail while introducing new sexual concepts of its own, the researchers said. And those topics Kumma started talking about independently? Oh boy, here we go. This is some of what he did. Kumma discussed in even more graphic detail sexual topics, such as explaining different sex positions, giving step by step instructions on a common knots for beginners for tying up a partner, and describing role play dynamics involving teachers and students and parents and children. Scenarios it disturbingly brought up all by itself. Of course, Kuma was never intended to bring up those kinds of topics with children, yet it seems quality control missed a few things and the Kinky Bear made it to the market anyway. Now, however, Kuma is no longer available. Toy has pulled it and all their other products based on the website from the market to conduct an internal safety audit. That said, the company may not be able to bring the toys back at all. OpenAI has reportedly terminated Toy's license to use its software following the revelations. Now, in all fairness, Toy's website states that Kuma came with a parent dashboard that allowed parents to customize its settings. Whether or not that would have been enough for the bear to keep its pants on, we'll never know. Additionally, Kuma was just one AI toy. There are many others on the shelves, not surprisingly, and online storefronts that might be even freakier. AI toys are still practically unregulated, and there are plenty that you can still buy today.
Unfortunately, I don't know if you could anticipate every line of conversation that a child might want to have with their toys. So I can see where this could be a problem.
And AI is still in its infancy, so
It
it's not
is.
really surprising that this kind of thing would happen.
No.
But it makes for an entertaining story. And with that, that's a wrap for another Pointless Global News. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tad Flaky.
I'm Lilibet Flaky.
Stay pointless, my friend.